I regret to inform you, the men are not okay. That's right, folks, the men are not okay. The men have no friends, no girlfriend, no college education, no money, are breaking their legs and inserting metal rods into their bones to be a few inches taller, and listening to AI Batman help them overcome their pornography addictions.
Welcome to the channel, everybody. It's your host, NGE, and today we're going to discuss the male loneliness epidemic and society's reaction to it. Shout out to Shoe0nHead for her video on the subject. We appreciate you, mommy, for using your platform to address and acknowledge one of the biggest issues that are plaguing men today. Check out her full video, links in the description below. So let's get into it. We're talking about the lack of belonging, the lack of purpose, the lack of companionship, and the rising rate of self-deletion. Most of us wake up an inch above depression every day, while being told that we don't have value unless we're in the top % of men. We're being told that in this economy, if we don't have the income to support a semi-lavish lifestyle for the woman we're with, then we're unworthy of her femininity. Men are expected to endure the reality that unless someone can use you as a tool for their own betterment, then you're worthless. Men are expected to accept and appreciate the overweight and obese women, single mothers, 304s with high body counts, party girls, online prostitutes, tattooed up and masculine boss chicks. Jay Waller said it best: there's a girl on Instagram that can shake her ass and make more money than the men that built the buildings that we all live in. Men have to endure all of the industries that prey on men's desire to escape their own reality, whether that be lonely fans, dating coaches, or the self-help gurus, the insidious free-to-play video game industry, the microtransactions and paid DLC, or the online fitness industry that will make you feel ashamed for having a natural physique. Men are reduced to invisible subhumans who are seen as predators and only want sex. And the bottom 90% men are blamed for the actions of the top 10% men. Men have been trying to escape a terrible existence ever since Apple released the iPhone. Now you're not just in competition with the men in your city or state, you're in competition with men worldwide. And then there's the dating apps, where once again men are targeted financially. And only the top 10% of men, looks-wise, may get any success at all. But don't worry, everyone has a program for sale to help you bag that 38-year-old eligible bachelorette, tattooed up, potty mouth 304 single mother.
Women on dating apps are picky. Women in general are picky, and I mean, naturally we are pickier. You know, we're the ones who carry the babies. At least for now. But on dating apps, you have to admit, it's a little insane. It's safe to say that the commodification of love and the window shopping of dating apps probably has to do a lot with the rise of lonely single men. Men are not just lonely when it comes to dating, they're lonely when it comes to friendship too.
Nobody told me how lonely being a man is. I had closer friendships with random women I met in the bathroom before I transitioned at clubs because of how open women are than I've had in my 8 years of transitioning. Because women are just so much more vulnerable and deep than men. But to have known, and I think a lot of trans men feel this, is we knew what depth felt like before we transitioned. We knew what it felt like to have people want to hug us. And to have people want to talk to us. And to have a community. And then you transition and you're just a guy walking down the street that people cross the street so that they're not near you. And friendships are so much harder to build. And people are colder. But I also now understand why the suicide rate is so much higher in men. Because this shit is lonely.
Unless you was fortunate enough to be born in the 80s or the early 90s, you might not have many or any friends at all as an adult man. The way men have naturally made friends has been through competition. Men tend to form competitive bonds with other men. When I was a kid, I found my friends through a very competitive version of neighborhood hide and go seek. We would bond through competing with each other. This is how you found out who was the fastest kid, who was the slowest kid, who was good at this and who was good at that. For men, the better that he can compete, the more likely that people will want to associate themselves with him. Myron from Fresh and Fit won't allow men from his audience to get a seat on his platform because unless they got a lot of status and are well known online, they're quintessentially useless outside of the donations. Now you see why men don't have many friends. It's because the competition have left the neighborhood and went online. That's why you see so many men that would rather play video games than anything else. Not only does it give them that dopamine hit of reward and progression, but it also gives them that sense of community. And all of that has been infiltrated by insidious women on Twitch looking to cash in on male horniness, and the microtransaction happy video game industry looking to cash in on the introverted lifestyle. So when men get this blue collar job to go to work so they can afford this online lifestyle of OnlyFans subscriptions, season pass DLC, dating coaches, and being a tier 3 sub for his favorite online Twitch thought and AI girlfriend. And he's also faced with gender quotas that ensure that middle management is most likely female. His female co-workers and superiors are not gonna see him as economically attractive because they make the same amount of money, if not more than he does. Men have to exist in a world where if they're too short, too young, too old, not the right race, or not enough money and status, then most women ain't dealing with you.
Recently, there were some statistics by healthcare company Cigna indicating that men are the loneliest generation. And addressing it doesn't mean that you turn your back on issues pertaining to women, but it does mean that we should be focused on what it is in society that is leading to this epidemic, what the left can do to offer solutions, and how we can basically fight back against the more nefarious figures who have filled the void that men are struggling with, people like Jordan Peterson and what have you. Now, recently, Vosh, who's a popular streamer, had tweeted this thread that I think is really, really important to address. He writes, "I cannot stress enough how important it is to understand that 12-year-old white boys on Twitch are not being pulled into fascism because of some Machiavellian desire to preserve and expand their privileges. It's because the right talks to them and the left doesn't."
Men are also politically ostracized. There is no politician campaigning for men's issues. In fact, the only men that do have politicians in their favor belong to the trans community. Ever since the Obama era, everything that men have generally enjoyed has died. Everything went woke. Movies, music, books, video games, and even comedians. Can't have a video game character if she's too sexy. Ghostbusters need to be female. Can't make the wrong dad joke or jokes about the rainbow community or they'll cancel you. Not to mention, there seems to be this socially accepted hatred towards all men in general. So if men are supposed to go to war with Russia and China, you're telling men that they're supposed to die for people like this?
LMAO, cry about it. Boo f***ing who? Oh no, poor widow men having problems. Boo f***ing who? Grow the f*** up then. Have men considered being smarter? I'm enjoying all these sad little moids and their sad little tweets about their sad, pathetic lives. Sounds like a personal problem. Is the lack of compassion for men in the room with us right now? Maybe men are just not good people then. I'm so f***ing tired of people trying to make male loneliness a huge societal problem. People are working harder and longer while wages have been stagnant. Men have been dropping out of college like flies. And what does that get you? Poor men. Which, since women are doing amazing in college now, and many are now out-earning men, this most of the time leads to single men, which then leads to lonely men, which leads to depressed men, which leads to the high suicide rate.
I'm gonna go a little deeper with this, man. Fellas, get some help. I understand that every day you wake up, it's not easy. It's not easy to perform. It's not easy to be what society wants us to be. For the guys that's thinking that they're at the end of their rope and they're ready to go ahead and give up, if you happen to be watching this video, I want you to do me and yourself mostly a favor and give it some more thought, give it some more time. I understand that you may feel hopeless. I understand that you may feel like nobody cares or no one sees you and you're better off gone. I understand that your depression is real. Andrew Tate may feel like depression is not real, but it is real. There's a difference between onset depression and clinical depression. You know, a lot of us may have onset depression where it's our life just kind of sucks, thus you're depressed because of it, versus clinical depression where your brain isn't triggering the right way. You know, like, don't try to go at this alone. There are people that are qualified to help you. You may not find that help online, but I'm telling you, if you manage to watch this video, give yourself at least 365 days to pursue your dream. If you have a dream, pursue it and use every one of those days, since you don't have that many, to take a step towards that dream. And after 365 days, if you don't feel better, then you do what you think is smart. But I'm here to tell you, as what little influence that I have, that if you do try, if you do put your one foot in front of the other every single day, no matter how short you think you are, no matter how ugly or how fat or how useless or how broke you think you are, you do matter. You do matter to somebody. There was 2 people that had to survive in order to create you. It is your job to survive and create more life. It is your job to matter to yourself and to society as a whole. Like, it's not easy being a man out here when you don't have a lot of money and you don't have a lot of status and you may not have been born genetically gifted. You know, consider yourself lucky if women ignore you. You know, you could be on the other side of things where they leave you or they cheat or they take your kids away and all kind of other stuff. That's a different kind of hell, man. It's a different kind of hurt. Nothing hurts more than knowing your girl is out there sucking somebody else off or got your kid around another man and that other man is probably doing something crazy to your kid and you'll never know about it. And then they grow up and blame you and ask you, where were you, as if you really had the option to stay there. With women, as we see nowadays, love to leave. What I'm saying is, man, just keep fighting, man, because your birthright is a warrior. I don't care if you feel like you're a beta or pathetic. Your birthright is a warrior. Nations survive due to you. Nations survive due to you. I want all men to understand that no matter where you are, one thing about men that we can change is our future. We can change our future. You don't, just because you're not where you want to be at 30 or 40 or 20, 50 or whatever, if you still have the ability, if you still have life, you can still be good at something. I don't know how bad your situation is. I don't know who I'm talking to and how bad their situation is. If you still have ability, if you still have people that are around you, there is a way for you to become something. Become the change you want to see. It's your boy, NGE. Peace.